Samadhi is a state where you go into a psychological saturation, and that physically takes you into a state of coma. Which is the void. The term Samadhi, Sama means equal, and Dhi means existence. So it's an equal existence of the two parietal lobes. When our two parietal lobe works, I'm answering in the way of yoga. When these two words, it always do a Kit Kat, like from here to here and here to here, it passes messages. If you divide 1 second by 49 parts, then within that period, a pulsation going through all the chakras, reaching head and equating the two lobes happens. By 1 by 49th part of a second.
Good.
So that is the understanding of the minutest yogic time. But when we meditate, we cannot catch that fastness of time, because we are conditioned and trained into objective time. This is subjective time. What's happening in you. And the objective time is like waiting for the season to rain, waiting for the season to snow, waiting for the season to sunlight, then waiting for the right time to have a partner, waiting for the right time to have a guru, waiting for the right time to have a divorce from the partner as well as the guru. And then the office, then the clock, then the watch. Everything is conditioned time. And this conditioned time is artificial time. So with artificial time, from the time of cavemen till now, we are proceeding into evolution of artificial time. Why? Because in human life faculty, there is a probability and capacity of evolving without the natural evolution. Without the natural evolution, nothing can evolve. But without the consent of the natural evolution, not in the cosmic design that everything is evolving, human being is evolving simultaneously. No, human being is evolving in its own made processes. That is why we need psychotherapy, psychiatry, psychologists. Because we have taken the evolution in our own hand. So we are trying to mature things before they are. And we are not also observing which are faster happening to us. So how fast the mind can be, at this moment you think you are in moon and you are in moon. But if you physically go to moon, through the rocket also will not take so fast. So how the mind is traveling so fast? Is our thought process just an illusion or fake or magic or abstract? Is it not grounded in the reality of the structures of the cosmic being? Everything is in the structure. Nothing is free from the structure. But when we are evolving in our own artificial mode, like evolution of language, like evolution of thought, evolution of politics, evolution of economics, these are not natural evolution. The natural evolution was geological anthropology or anthropological geological reality. We human beings are not standing there. It has gone afar. So in this evolution, we have made a new structure of evolution within nature with the capability of artificial evolution. Thus, we are not aware of the natural evolution that is happening in us. So how we will know the natural time? We do not know the natural time. So once, when the natural evolution starts getting observed in us is in meditation. The yogas are activities which will awaken natural conditionings in us. These natural conditionings are not many, just a few. These natural conditionings are holding the structure of cosmic evolution in our 7 chakras, going to the spine. So when we are practicing yoga, why we are practicing? First of all, we are practicing because the natural balance, which we call the Buddha mind, the Shiva mind, the wisdom mind, which is always in equipoise, not in the conflict of the binary. This conflict of the binary of mind is our illusion, self-created. Whereas the natural evolution may not allow us to understand many things. Like natural evolved brain may not immediately understand mathematics, engineering, physics, but they will understand everything natural. So if we understand mathematics, physics, if we understand engineering, everything that man has created, does that make us a better people? No. That make us fight wars, having powers of atomic bomb. That makes us create plastic. Some people are thinking how much developed we are. What is developed? Then a person in obesity is also developed, it's developing. If we are increasing a faculty, means development, then obesity also is development, isn't it? You have developed your body so much. So thus, we have forgotten what is development. So our brain cannot anymore enhance the thought of natural development. Nowadays, you will find young boys and girls, 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, having sexual impulses and orgasms. It is natural because it is naturally happening to them. But is it natural that before puberty, your body is making sexual fluids? I'm asking. It's a big challenge today. Is it natural? It's not natural. It's coming through food. It's coming to culture. It's coming to the parents. Like hormonized food, more you take, more your children will go unnatural in their hormones from childhood days. Secondly, culture. A culture where the experience of sexuality is given greater importance and impulse than the experience of love in heart. Parents, during pregnancy, if parents have sexuality, then the child will be born with embryonic perception of sexuality. If you follow the Buddhist psychology, you will see that. I've come across many coming and talking to me about their sexual feelings and orgasms in very early life. Forget about people. In India, already through media exposition, broiler chicken, multiple hormonized food. In Kerala, 10 years back, it happened that 5 years old children are coming up to adolescence in a village because of hormonized food. People were asking me how to deal with these children. I don't know. Because I didn't tell you to use wrong food, wrong culture, wrong life. What is wrong? That is not natural. So how much your artificial life is allowed to be natural and how much not is very metaphorically shown in the Genesis of Bible. Why Adam and Eve were kicked out from the garden. It starts with the binary of mind. That if it is not good for me, then behind it, why it is not good for me, to understand that I have to do it and understand. So once I do it and I suffer the karma consequence of it as an effect in my mind, then how I will rectify, how I will come out of it. There's no answer. So culture that may push people to such artificial modes. It's not one case. In my life, I have got some 32 cases, all in Western context, not in India. But now, recently, I have got in Indian context, while counseling, 3 to 4 boys and girls. Thus, you will not understand why sexual abuse can happen in a school between a 5-year-old, between 2 5-year-old kids. It is unnatural evolution. I'm not speaking against sexual. I'm also born, not dropped from the sky. So I'm not speaking against sexuality. I'm speaking about the naturality. So if we lose our naturalness, then how we will concentrate in the reality of life? So what we are concentrating in, calling it a material reality of life, it's absolutely immaterial artificialism inculcated in us. Think of it. Okay, I go back. So this function of the brain as it is happening, the 2 parietal lobes never come to an equated understanding. Means where from the binary of mind comes. What you have experienced, your analysis is standing against it. And what you are analyzing, your experience is standing against it. This is the basic bipolarity among all of us. Not a single person is free from it. That incoherent, experiential, and analytical understanding. So in us, there is a big conflict carrying on. So when the sadhana starts, particularly in yoga, you are concentrated to see your natural evolution. So when you are doing hatha yoga, I've again and again said it, see, most of the breathing techniques, the asanas and pranayamas, or the postures are named after animals and natural life. Birds, flowers, trees. Why? Because we have lost the natural instinct And because we have lost the natural instinct, we cannot decide. Hatha yoga takes you to understand your natural instinct. If you get enlightened in your natural instincts, there can be many stages of enlightenment. Buddha says an enlightened being needs to take 10,000 lifetimes maybe for accomplishing in the enlightenment. So everything, when you come across truth, even little things, that's also an enlightenment. So when your natural instincts are accomplished, the states of divinity even you achieve is the divinity in the Garden of Eden. In tantric world, they have been designed into half man, half human, half beast deities. Like Pratyangira or Singhamukhi, Hanuman, Ganapati, Varaha, Nrsimha. All these animals that these deities represent are the instincts of those animals. What are the instincts of those animals? Because if you know, go back to your memory, long memory collected in your RNA DNA, to those memories, then you will be your health caretaker rather than doctors or psychotherapists. Though we have come to an age where we advise others, take care. Who are you to tell me take care of myself? I don't know why you are so over smart telling people take care. Stop this wrong habit of advising people unwanted advices. Why you are saying to people take care? Because this is what is happening in you. You have failed to take care of your body mind. They are bifurcated, they're split, they're broken. So you're super reflecting your mess on others and saying, take care. You can take people, okay, I take care of you. That nobody says. People said, you take care of yourself. Who are you to give me this advice? What nonsense is such a compliment? See where artificial mind and ego has taken all of us. Our regular talking habits all have become artificial. So it's very difficult to understand Samadhi. I'm coming slowly back. When a child is newborn, it is exactly the state of pure perception and pure sensation that the child is not allowing yet, has not yet recorded the artificial conditioning, and the state a child lives in that state is in pure consciousness. That is why in the Shaiva Tantras, in the Shaivite school, the fifth element, Shiva, is called Sadyajata, or the newborn. Because you attain in your fifth element what Buddhists will call the practice of Dzogchen is a childlike, pure, natural consciousness. You see, children have soft head. The frontal is soft. Why? Because so long it is soft that pure perception or pure sensation is working. More it will get conditioned by defining things, or this is this, this is that. These names, a linguistic conditioning will come. More the head will start getting hurt. Because the pure consciousness is now getting conditioned. This pure conscious mind is achieved, state of mind is achieved in practice of Samadhi. So Samadhi is the equipoise of the two lobes. Samadhi means settled equality. In that settled equality, there is no sense of time. Why? Because there is no sense of change. If there is no sense of change, where from the sense of time in your perception will work? It's so simple a reality. When you go to deep sleep, you have no sense of time. Still, you come back and start finding time in your watch. So your time is in your own made machine. It is a mechanical time you are following. So once you go into yoga, first is awakening the animal instincts which are almost dead. That is why you need a toothpick and a dentist, toothpaste and toothbrush for your teeth. You're so civilized. The uncivilized lion, after devouring a full animal, does not need to brush, does not get dental infection and goes to a dentist. So how much weak in taking care of you have become? Ask yourself. What you are proud of in this world is your artificial genesis. That artificial genesis in the book of Genesis of Bible has been very satirically pointed out as satanic. An evolution that started with human beings with the bifurcation of mind. If there is no bifurcation of mind, there is no temptation. So after Hatha Yoga comes Kriya Yoga. Hatha Yoga is working with the blood, the muscles, and the blood flow mainly. So controlling the blood flow, it's controlling the glandular system a little part, not very much. But it is maintaining the heat and temperature of the body. The temperature of the body in various parts of body, different temperatures, are actually handling the making of the chemicals in your glands from where your emotions are developed. So to control emotions is Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is awakening of Kundalini, passing through the spine, knowing the spine and how it ends up in the brain, slowly passing through the autonomous nervous system called Ida Pingala, and then coming to the front of the body and dealing with the glandular system, because the neurosystem is bringing the brain alcohol or food for making the hormones and enzymes and other glandular secretions responsible for our emotional perception process in our glands. So starting from the perennial gland, Muladhara, ending up in the pineal gland is the completion of Kriya. So here the deities are no more half human, half animal. Now they are intuitive, but their intuition is carrying out. So the deities are your archetypes, are being carried out by basic animal instincts. And thus, every deity has a vehicle. Saraswati has a swan. Lakshmi has an owl. Durga has a lion. Shiva has a ox. These are the instincts, those instincts which will carry such archetypal human psychological consciousness. So this is the advent of human. So here that you will find the natural human being. After Kriya Yoga, when you will go to Raja Yoga, you will come across time and its dimensions in your brain. Because how your brain cells are changing, acting, reacting, according to that, your sense of time is growing inside. That is a Raja Yoga. Why Raja Yoga? Raja Yoga means the king's yoga. Because you are now becoming the king of yourself. So long you needed to be ruled by others who know you better than you. Your teachers, your parents, guru. But now you know to take a control over your own being. And this taking control over your own being is coming from understanding of controlling the brain pulsations. And from that higher realm you go. So this is called the God's realms, Raj Yoga, Divyachara in Tantra, the practice of a God. Because now you are becoming an architect for yourself. So this is what Tantra asks you to see the deity you are worshipping, you are verily that. How you are programming yourself into the deity. All by pulsations. Now, there is also in this state of yoga, Detlef, this state of yoga needs mantras because those are sound inculcations in your brain. But if you go on doing 100,000 many mantras, you may feel happy. But that is not actually working what it needs to work because you do not know how to pass these sounds through your channels, through your nadi bindus. Do you understand?
I understand.
So a child's play of two dolls getting married and a guardian's role play of getting the son or the daughter married is not the same thing, though they are apparently the same. In Tantra, actually, the mantra has no value until and unless you know how to read your own pulsations and how to read the pulsations of the mantra you are chanting, changing your pulsation. Many a times, an enlightened being or a powerful siddha can give you a mantra with an empowerment. That is what in Tibetan tradition called Wang and Lung. So this training of the mantra when it is called Lung, Lung means air, is connected to breathing. So if you are not taught a breathing technique, and you have not experienced a rendered experience by your guru, which is empowerment, your entire empowerment and initiation may be false or one-sided. Maybe the guru gave, you didn't get it. Or maybe the Guru didn't give you. How will you get it? So each of these technical terms in Tantra is highly within highly technical boundaries. It's reality. It's not imagination. It's just not emotions. Now, when this equality of the two lobes happen, for a time being, your perception and your experience, sensation has equated. Then there is neither sensation nor perception particularly reflected. That is why you go to a state which we call trance in ordinary language. This transcendence is Samadhi. So when you come back from there, for some time, you are into pure perception. If you stay there for a minute, the next 1 hour, you can remain in a pure perception. The effect is so strong. In this pure perception, if you remain alone or you go on watching yourself, you will find many things of your knowledge meaningless. You have unnecessarily accumulated a lot of charge and decked your basement with. Now you are afraid to get into your basement because your own collections are horrorful. You cannot throw them out because you are attached. You cannot enjoy because you don't need them. Horrible. So thus, our basement or subconscious is filled with charge. And we think we are having free choice. We are so independent. No, no, no. Those charge in our basement is making us do things. We are slave our own wrong accumulations. Not needed, unnecessary accumulations. These are conditionings. So Samadhi is a state when you can free yourself from condition. So yes, Lalitama, you are right that in your childhood days you experience. All children experience it and then they don't remember it. Like hundreds of parents come to me with their children. The children are so much trouble. Children are not listening to us. Children are not disciplined. I first ask them, were you disciplined when you were of his or her age? Were you the goody boy or girl to your parents when you were that age? Why you are trying to make them artificial? Because you are reflecting your own misdoings and misdeeds and shame and failure. But that is the process you have learned. All those are in the jam. That is why it is a jam. Nice to have a morning toast with. It's everything there. All the spices of life are there. So it's not that you should be continuously shaming your misdoings. If you think it is misdoing, rectify. That you have learned it is a misdoing is enough for you to learn. So your failure will teach you or pull you down to a gloom that is upon you. How do you see it? Now, that is why I continuously speak about Samadhi, because all these yogas are reaching you to certain Samadhis. Like in Kriya Yoga, when you are starting, you go to Muladhara and you open up the perennial plexus, which is standing on a gland, perennial gland. And observing its pulsation, you just become the pulsation yourself. So this chakra is holding your rest and motion imbalance or balance, or any type of action and reaction connected to rest and motion. So the anger is hidden there, the insecurity is hidden there. So once you have awakened the chakra and you have gone deep into it, and you watching the pulsation, you have become the pulsation there. Very soon the pulsation will stop with your brain stopped. That is Samadhi in Muladhara. It is called Jada Samadhi, or Samadhi of inertia. Rest and motion got equated. When you come back, what you come back with? A full balanced physical system which was suffering the need of action, or which was suffering the need of rest. So from there, your collected fear, insecurity, and anger is cleansed. As many times you go there and awaken that chakra and go to the saturation of the Samadhi, Samadhi is the broomstick. Like as the witches ride on broomsticks, I also ride on a broomstick called Samadhi. All yogis riding on their broomsticks called Samadhi, through which they clean the path. They clean their soul. Remember, Lord Buddha, in his total teachings, there are names of 84 different kinds of samadhis. From each samadhi is coming and giving a discourse. What he's realized. Today's Buddhists are so busy in brocade and throne and crown and certificates and dress-ups, and how many mantras you are initiated, how many Rinpoches are in your bag, that they've forgotten what is the main teaching of Lord Buddha, samadhis. But people cannot immediately go to samadhi. So they have to go through meditation. What is meditation? Now most of the people think visualization is meditation. Then all imaginations will be meditations too. No, meditation is not just closing your eyes and seeing fairy tales. Meditation is knowing yourself, concentrating on your natural activities. So the natural activities are impulsed by yoga technique. And then you go to meditate what it is giving you, how it is working in your body, how it is working in your emotions, how is it working in your thought process, what judgment you derive from that, and then you get identified with that sensation. Then you get samadhi. So every yoga has to reach a dhyan or meditation, and the meditation has to culminate in samadhi or equipoise. Because the bifurcation that's created by the polarity of the energy cycle, which is the basic structure of the entire universe, a polarization. Ma? That is the design of the vajra, a polarization, a magnetic field, that the entire universe is, you are also. That is the unit of a frequency, that is the pulsation of being. And not only a life in being, but in the entire universe of also all non-living matters in being. That is why I continuously speak about samadhi, because the real tantra, intrinsic practice of tantra is yoga, dhan, samadhi. This is the means. Can you give my watch now?
Can I just ask a question here?
Yeah.
You describe tools like meditation and understanding things that I just don't have. I've never learned. Can I still get through or not? Is there some way that a person without knowledge or techniques?
See, theoretically, yes, you can do. Practically, I don't. What is the theory? Theory is that you live in your natural self. Again, the term natural, not artificially conditioned. From my observation and opinion, you are quite much in your natural self than any average person. You are much ahead there. That is why you understand the evils of organization, you understand the evils of planning, because you have revolted against the basic nature of artificiality. Artificiality starts with planning and organization. But apart from it also, there is a huge record from the time of caveman to human. So accordingly, the dharmas are the practices that will help us to go back to our original self, will also. So how much this evolution, in this evolution, things are natural, and how much in this evolution, things are artificial. If Western psychology, the subject knew, they wouldn't have said that mind can be anything, anytime, anywhere. Because they don't know the parameters of mind. They don't understand it. One person understood it, called Carl Jung. And Carl Jung said that all psychological troubles will be healed by going into collective unconscious, which is Samadhi. Now compare between psychotherapy and tantra. It's doing the same thing, working on your mind, working on your perception, working on your sensations and emotions, your judgments, your writing. It's different tools human beings have found out. But tantra has found out that there is the ultimate archetypal human mind. And that mind has been called as Paramashivanang, Buddhanang, Jinanang, Hopi. Naropa, in his Shekadeshikatika or commentary on understanding the Buddha nature, has said that the term Paramashiva or Shiva, the term Buddha, and the term Jina, all are definitions of that human mind that is free from all conditions. So the Buddha, the Shiva, the Jina, God, whatever you call it, is in you. Not as a different person sitting inside your liver or kidney. It's in your own pulsation. It's in your own Samadhi. So I am trying to take people into a journey of reality rather than fantasy. Yes, good and divine fantasies help people a lot. Rather than thinking of bad thoughts, they think for some time good thoughts. Children should have fairy tales. But do you accept your children in other matters? No. So why in meditation you will remain as absolutely kids? You need only fantasies to focus on. What is it? So, yes, theoretically you can do so if you concentrate your basic mind. Just you sit and relax and let thoughts come and go, thoughts come and go, thoughts come and go, thoughts come and go. You will feel impatient, you feel tired, no problem. You have nothing else to do. Just go on seeing your thoughts. At time, thoughts will get tired. When the thoughts will get tired with you, they have dropped out. They have left playing with you. That is the time you are in that state. It's how you like, suppose you're thinking about something too much and then you become blank. It happens to everybody. If you can conduct that blankness on you, that is going into voidness. So theoretically, you can do it, but practically, I do not know. I know practically a ladder through which you can go and reach there. But of course, you can do it, you can try it without doing anything. But can you really do without doing anything? Can you do without asking a question in your own mind? Can you do without going to the toilet? Can you do without having food? Can you do without having sleep? So all these you are doing. So in the same structure, we do yoga, dhyan, and samadhi. So it's there. It's always there. That is the substratum consciousness. We have lost it according to our conditioning. So if you can just forget the conditioning and go to no thought, you are there. But if you try to go to no thought, then more thoughts regarding how to go to no thought will come up. Uninvited advices will start coming, creeping into your head. What will you do with that? Okay, I'm coming to you soon. We'll try together. Best is what you know, ma. Remember, go to your memories with your Guru. Go to your moments of bliss that you felt with your Guru, just emotionally. And try to feel the feelings, what is happening to you. By trying to feel the feelings, you will hold on to that pure bliss and it will start working in you. That's another method. Very easy method.
That's one method I could use.
Yes, that's the best method, actually.
Okay.
Return back to your moments of bliss just by thought, their reality that has happened to you. So that has remained in your syndrome. So dig out your diamond from your own grave of thoughts.
Wow.
You have never lost it. It's there. Okay. So in the chat box, Chinmoy has asked, Baba, what are the 9 tantric trees and what is their significance? Though this too has not much connection, but as Tantra has found out the medicinal, the psychosomatic medicinal qualities of plants, that a plant can change your mind, a plant can change your body, that we know through medicines, but a plant can also change your mind, was very pointed out by Lord Buddha. sitting under a Bodhi tree. Now, under any big tree you sit, the roots are going very deep into earth. And if you know Dharitri Yoga or earthing meditation or grounding meditation, which is called asana shuddhi in tantra, if your perineum gets the pulsation of the roots, if you connect with the root of the tree, then you will go very deep inside earth. And you will grow a stillness of your body, because immediately your body pulsations will start reaching, equating with the pulsation under earth, which is more still. That is why meditators go into caves and under trees to meditate, to equate your pulsation with that of earth or tree. Tree is the most patient and tolerant life on earth. So how we can derive that tolerance and patience in us? Because in our RNA, DNA, there are trees and plants also. Evoke them. So in that, I will not be able to name all the English names of these plants, but there are first the 5 bodies or trees which don't grow flower, but the fruit. So that is the banyan tree, the peepal tree, which is the Bodhi tree. Near to peepal tree, another tree called Korkoti. Then fig tree, and you know, we use a flower, we call it vajra flower, like a feather, which is a flower goes within the thalamus of the flower. It blooms within the thalamus, a composite flower, and the thalamus becomes the bean. So the seeds are matured with the flowers. Oh, wait a minute, let me show you. You can see the seed and the flower like this. On the big pot, there will be thousands in a pot. I don't have a pot at my hand, otherwise I would have showed you. Buddha chose this tree as the root of this tree, he chose for making his deathbed. So he chose to go into parinirvana under this tree. So all these trees, then there are more, like the amla tree. In India, we call them gooseberry because it's named by English people, but it's not a berry, it's a huge tree. Amla, a green fruit, that tree. Then haritaki, another fruit. Bohera, another fruit. These are highly medicinal plants. Thus, there are 9 trees that help a yogi in meditation and medicines. So this flower, you will see those who are accustomed with the Lamaistic world, you will see, because in the Himalayas, you always do not get flowers to offer to the deities. This is the flower that is offered. It's dry because it's inside the thalamus. They go in the root of the Himalayas very much, the doers. So it has a seed It looks like a peacock feather, actually. It is a seed which looks like an eye. Folk call it the eye of the flower. So this eye of the flower is just like a seed, have two segments and a partition joined together. So if you soak it in alcohol and then place it on your forehead, the alcohol will connect with the inner channels, and this immediately will start equating your pulsation in the pineal gland. So when we in our meditation put this like this, and then we meditate, it helps to come very quickly to the meditation. But it's all depends upon your mind. If your mind knows to take the help, it can take the help. If your mind is not trained in taking the help from an outer object, it will be again another object, another accumulation. So these 9 trees called Bot, Ashattha, Parkati, Udambara, Amlak, Haridra, Haritaki, the Vajrapushpa, Saptapurni. These are the 8, and there is another one. I don't know its Sanskrit name. We call it Bahira in local name. So these 9 plants or neem can influence your psychology into meditation if you sit on their roots. They are not only medicinal, they're also medicinal or healing to your mind. Is that clear, Chinmoy?
Yes, Baba.
But when you are in America, you have to find the local trees, which are psychic trees, or you can have a psychic evolution with those trees. Why? Because plants are very local medicine. So if you take a plant from India and make a tantric garden, it will not work the way you pick up the medicinal plants of your world and know from the natives which are the trees that have strong spirits. So those will be your tantric trees. Is it clear to you, Baba?
Yes, Adesh Baba.
Yes. Orko is now asking, we have heard about Vilva Mool Sadhana. Does Bale tree also have connection with these 9 types of trees? Yes. These 9 types of trees are different according to different geological contexts and their practices also. In Kalikula, Tarakula, and Shrikula, all the 9 tantric trees are not exactly the same. Locally, what they grow, on that they choose. Vilva is very important in Kalikula. In Himalayas, Vilva do not grow, so we cannot take help of Vilva in the Himalayas. But in Kalikula, that is entire Gangetic plain, Vilva is one of the main tantric trees. Okay. Priyanka, I have already explained why we put this flower in our forehead, okay? Either you didn't hear it or you have missed it. It balances.
Yes, Baba, I heard the answer. I had typed it before you spoke. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Achha. Now, Detlef is asking to speak about Sri Kula, Kalikula, and Tara. It's the three standards of psychological realization. Sri Kula, the realization of Sri Kula, or the family of Sri means beauty, aesthetics, is attaining the power, energy, and taste for cosmic aesthetics. Cosmic aesthetics means undisturbed by artificial conditioning, your sense of beauty. Like you go to nature and find a sense of beauty. That's not artificial. But the moment you start cutting the wild and making a garden design, the artificial beauty has started. So that sense of beauty, that sense of taste, which has evolved from nature, which is evolved from the cosmic energy, following that training and technique is Sri Kula practices, which is standing on the theory of Big Bang. And
Yes,
this
15th and 16th to the last.
an experience of the Big Bang also happens in your own consciousness and mind, which is called Brahma Gyan, or the wisdom of expansion. Kalikula, Kali means one who eats up time. So Kalikula is that state of being. Kali is that state of being. Kali realization is that state of being, which is reaching you to a state of onlyness of being. You have forgotten who you are, but you have not forgotten that you are existing. This sense of existence, without conditioned by name and form, is the state of onlyness called Kaivalya. This has been termed in Tantra as Kali. So Kali is one who eats up time. So when you have lost your sense of time, you have reached Kali. So Kali is the essence standing on the theory of Big Crunch, or the universe winding into its source. So the practices which are connected to this practice, achieving that onlyness, Kaivalya, is onlyness of being, is the tantric practices of Kalikula. And the tantric practices of Tarakula, Tara means the saviors. Buddha first spoke about Tara in Indian context, though the later so-called Hindu tantrikas have claimed that Tara was there in earlier texts. But those earlier texts do not prove by their language that they're earlier than They try to bring everything under Vedic dictum. Yes, Vedas were before Buddha, but this deity Tara, in my research, I have not found. I have practiced the Shaiva, Shakta, Vaishnava schools.
Mhm.
I have not found this deity earlier than Buddha's teachings. In Pragyaparamita Shastrika, the absolute wisdom said to be the mother of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, as Lord Buddha metaphorized her. She's called the savior or Tara. So where you are saved, you are not saved in the Big Bang, because in the back of the Big Bang is the Big Crunch. So Big Crunch, also you are not saved, because still the state of being is there. From there you can come back to your conditions. Your conditions will not totally get eroded in that singularity of being. So transcending even the singularity of being is what generally Buddhists call non-self. Like those who have not attained it, when they call it, they misdefine it again and again, because it cannot be actually defined. You can define the process of getting lost. When you are lost, you cannot define. So you can define savikalpasamadhi. You cannot define nirvikalpasamadhi. Savikalpasamadhi is alternative samadhi. Through this state, you have gone to such an experience, and that experience of saturation is standing on still a definition. It's definitionless. So definitionless, you are not there. Even the being is not there. That is what we term it as void, because no other word can explain it. There is no sense of number there. That is why there is no sense of duality or non-duality. That state, I cannot say it is a state of being. For you there, it is not a state of being. For others, you have gone into that state, because they are seeing you different than themselves. And you are in a state of absolute indifference. And when there is nothing different, you have no particular perception. It's achinta or unperceptual, non-perceptual. These are all words. Those who meditate or have reached that state, even for a moment, they will know. Otherwise, what you cannot feel, we can go on talking endlessly. We will not reach anywhere. So that is to reach that from the state of being to state, let us say, the state of non-being. It cannot be said anything. Is the matter of Tarakula, and also coming back from there. So that coming back from there is the Tathagatahood. And that state is the Buddha mind. So one who goes to thought or suchness and comes back from there is a Tathagata. Thought means such, agata means have come. It may mean two things in Sanskrit. Tat agata, tathat agata, tathaya gatam, tathat agatam. That I have merged in suchness and I've come back from suchness. So this going and coming back, you have record. That you have no record. This is the story of Tara eating up Gururinpoche, eating up Padmasambhava, eating up Saimunatha. And then is in the womb of the mother, one with voidness, one with the great void. So there's no difference. So again, when he is being delivered, he lived like a little child. That is the state of an Mahasiddha, an accomplished, fully accomplished yogi, a yogi who has attained nirvana and come back to life. That is the life of a Buddha, like a child, free from all conditions. Acha. Rashi is asking a question.
Thank you.
What is the significance of sculptures in Copulation in Kadura or other temples in India? Were these temples open to public? Then yes, they were open to public. These Copulation sculptures were made in the temple so people see sexuality with divinity. Because sexuality is a thing that takes you away from divinity. I don't have to tell you many things. Anybody else. You go to your own experience and see how many times you have felt low self-esteem, shamed, abused, enticed, tempted, ditched, all connected to sexuality. Ask this. I don't have to say. You know it. Why do you ask me? So how to come out of this? To come out of this is to see your own sexual energy with divinity. What is divinity? What you don't feel guilt, what you don't feel ashamed, what you don't feel shamed, what you don't feel abused, what you don't feel enticed, what you don't feel seduced, why you don't feel tempted. Now you are an artist. You have seen Khajuraho. When you see the sculptures, the style of the sculptures, does it allow a vulgar sense of mind looking at those sculptures? No. They don't even inculcate the vulgarity which is so akin to sexuality. So how will be the sexual energy if it is free from vulgarity? Thus, from where the vulgarity has been pushed into human mind by modern pornography, Indian tantrics also made a divine pornography. Those are visualizations of copulation with the style of repose and innocence, making them meditative. Your excitement doesn't allow you to meditate on sexuality. So the fastness of the excitement don't allow you to meditate on your sexual energy. So from there comes all dissatisfactions, all vulgarities, all enticement, all seduction, all pleasure seekingness, because you are discontent. The divinity of sexuality will come from contentment of the sexuality, without a shame, without a hangover, without feeling abused, without feeling incomplete. you without feeling discontent, without feeling seduced or seducing. Because in tantric sex, you learn to say no to excitement. Now you will say, Baba, how there can be sex without excitement? Yes, then it is not for your matter to understand also. It's not your matter. If you think that your sexual dignity has been given in hands of excitement, then you are shamed, then you are seduced, then you are tempted, then you are abused by yourself, nobody else. So there should be starting a revolution of Me Too, not to say, me too abused, me too considered myself to be abused. I'm self-abused, start from there. If a boy touched you and you thought you were abused, why you don't think abused when you masturbate? Ask yourself. Adesh. When you imagine your past experiences of sexuality in your sexual memory and excitement, why you are not abusing yourself 1,000 times more? It's the same thing going on. Ask yourself, why I have to give the answers? That is why in tantric era, temples were adorned with images of copulation. Even Nagarjuna's cave of Achintapuri Vihara or Ajanta, which has a Hinayana monastery, Mahayana monastery, Tantrayana monastery, and the Vajrayana monastery, all the Yana monasteries are there inside Ajanta. So such a long time of habitat. Go and see there how much forms of copulation. Why? Because you are born out of sex. Why then sex is so bad for you? Because you have made it bad for you. Nobody else made it bad for you. You made it bad for you. Your own shame, your own hiding, your own dissatisfaction, your own discontentment, your own seduction, your own excitement has made it bad for you. Make it good for you. Meditate on each of your sexual experiences. Pull them back into you and go on watching them till your mind disassociates you from them and not carry you still in that shame, in that indignity. So to get relief from this natural instinct, negative ends of this natural instinct, to get relief from the negative ends of this reactions of this natural instinct, they tried to focus to you your own imaginations or your own regular aspects of sexuality. That from there you learn how to meditate upon your own sexuality, which is the cause of almost all psychological perversions. That is why sex is bad. And sex is not good, is inevitable because you are born out of it. So how did you make a truth, a natural impulse so bad? Ask yourself. Or go to this temple, see these copulations. See this divine pornography. The aesthetics is so high there that the aesthetics doesn't let you go into vulgar thoughts about them. This is the quality of art. See, in Thankas, there are many copulation images, Tibetan paintings. They're so aesthetic that they don't arouse us. That arousing us is coming from our conditioning of excitement. When we lose our innocence through sex, that is the time we create this vulgarity within ourselves. If it is not clear to you, you can ask me more questions. I'm ready to answer. I have my disciples here who practice tantric sex. And they have attained various stages of development of their psychological experiences into psychic experiences. I think they will support me that how different it is from what you know as sexuality. But there are gurus, those who teach this directly. But there are many fake con artists in the market that in name of teaching you that, they just utilize you and enjoy. So the gurus, both male and female, who teach it directly to you are known as Daka Dakinis or Bhairav Bhairavis. The Vaishnavas call them Nayak Nayikas. Any more questions? If there are no questions, I really don't find anything to speak on because
Baba,
sir.
when Tathagats come back, do they deal with the same psychological issues like we deal? Like last time you talked that there were 3 suicidal attempts that you tried to do, and I've heard similar stories of Tibet. Of avatars. Like, so do they have to learn everything from the scratch, or they are? And you also told us that.
So your question precisely is, those who are incarnates, do they have to do back the practices? Is it?
Yes, Baba.
Okay. Yes. It's like your car license. It is your car. You have a license, but you have to renew it every year. When we know a thing in our mind connected to the body, but when we die, it's only the mind that survives, not the body. So when it comes to a new body, this new body is not exactly the same as the old body. So the old memories, even they're intact, they do not work out with the new body. So if I start teaching you something of an experience of a caveman, and you are sitting in the New York City, you will never get it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So everybody has to renew the practices. This renewal of practices, those who are really strong incarnates, they all reveal to him or her or it They remember and then they practice it in the new body. When they practice it in the new body, they come with a number of hindrances. So according to the time, place, situation, they relearn the process. So every time they're learning, the learning is not exactly that of the old self. So it's like you have a book, journal, which writes all your researches. But neither the laboratory is there, nor your invented things or discovered things are there. You have discovered this. You are reading it, but the thing is not in your hand. The knowledge is in you. It has to come to your hand. That is why in tantra we give so much importance to body. That is why every time we come in a new body, we are already conditioned. Apart from our past memories, 4 more things. What? We are conditioned by the new parental genetics. Over to it, we are conditioned by evolutionary genetics, various animal RNAs and DNAs, prominent, dominant, or recessive. We are conditioned on these 3, on these 2, with our birth moment and astrological conditionings, and then our gender-centric conditioning from our adolescence or puberty. So all these you have to cut up to go work out your past realization. So all avatars have to do tapasya. Ramachandra had to do tapasya. Sri Krishna had to do tapasya. Buddha had to do tapasya. Padmasambhava had to do tapasya. If you read Padmasambhava's renderings about his experience with Manjushri Mitra when he went as a chancellor, as a PhD of Nalanda University, to meet Manjushri Mitra, to have his teachings. Manjushri Mitra said, novice, you better study Tripitaka. That is how Manjushri Mitra started with Padmasambhava. So Padmasambhava said, I don't know Tripitaka, I am teaching Tripitaka. Then he was put into a meditation. And when he came back, Manjushri Mitra showed him that all the aspects and experience of the meditation that he's having are decked with egocentric attitude. Again, he went to practice the meditation. When he came back, then Manjushri Mitra said, now you have just entered it. Again, sent. So it was 3, 4 times, the same meditation was sent. And then Padmasambhava is saying, now I am understanding Tripitaka completely different. There is one Australian lady doing excellent recitation of texts in English. I don't remember her name. My problem is not remembering names. So in YouTube, you will find her. So if you put on Gururinpoche's, Manjushri Mitra's teachings to Gururinpoche, you will find these excellent passages. It's very good for everybody, those who want to hear Swayambhunatha's teachings, because sometimes we don't enjoy reading, but we enjoy listening. You know, so you can listen to it. In this lifetime is my 16th lifetime as an avadhuta. I have full memory of my past lives. But in this lifetime, at the age of passing 30, after 14 years being with my final test of my wisdom guru, he recognized me to be an accomplished avadhut. But what yogically is the attainment of avadhuthood? I've already experienced that and is practicing, remaining in that samadhi for more than 8 to 10 years before it. Even with all my remembrance, I need that to practice, renew. Yes, I did it much quicker. In one lifetime, I started from Hinayana and completed vajrayana. Because the wisdom is ready inside, but the practices were not. So the practices were going through renewed experiences, which is very important. Again, in my time, like time to time in my life, when I became a guru, I didn't really want to be a guru because of my promise to my guru. When I had a little bit of myself remaining from that self-dignity, I promised my guru, okay, I will become a guru next to you. All my gurus made me promise. But when I lost myself, I found, why did I take this responsibility? And I started finding, I'm speaking from my experiential wisdom, and people are listening it as information. So the nearest person to me is light years away from me. This gave me loneliness, severe loneliness. So in that loneliness, after giving a full teaching, after empowering, instructing people, rendering them my experiencing, then I'm seeing they're failing. So in this hopelessness, also, I've time to time got clouded. I've time to time lost my pure consciousness. Then again, I had to practice to go back there. It's like health. Once you have got a good health, you can just give it no try to keep the health anymore. Not that. You have to maintain the health. For that also practice is needed. Lord Buddha every day is to practice 4 hours of samadhi. Every day. Two hours in the day and 2 hours in the night. Like every day when you meditate, every day it takes you to the same blissful end. No? This is the influence of other things, many, many things. So even if you are cleared out of your old samskaras and you are into a yogi samskara or a meditator samskara, still your meditation can get disturbed. So when for an avadhut, the sahaja nature or the spontaneous nature get disturbed, it gets disturbed. Suppose I've shouted at a disciple for a long time, it got disturbed. So it will take me to regain back to my equilibrium because I'm thinking of the wrong. So thinking of the wrong is doing wrong to me also. I've seen those who are astrologers. They are concentrating on a lot of negatives of people. And after that, they catch those negatives. Similarly, how many doctors died in this COVID time in hospital getting COVID? Similarly, your faculties of concentration can also die. And you have to again practice to renew back. So if you think that enlightenment is a thing, that okay, I am freed, I've got my certificate, and I don't need to practice anything. And okay, you are enlightened being. Stop eating, drinking, peeing, shitting, going to bed from today. No. It's very human. It's not magic. There's nothing magic. Even magic has a science behind it. Now, death is smiling a very significant, meaningful smile, because every day death thinks, I am practicing all those this old man has taught me. But then I forget this practice. I dislike every day doing these practices. Why it doesn't happen to me? It doesn't happen to this old man also time to time. When the old man gets very possessed with all your troubles, then the old man loses his balance for a moment also. And then there needs practice. As every day you need rest and food, similarly, it has to become a way of your life. A real yogi does not particularly sit for a meditation, but whatever he or she is doing, thinking, speaking, they are consciously into the yoga, dhyan, and samadhi. If it doesn't happen to you, you want to realize what I'm saying. There's a saying that Gururinpoche is to talk only with the exhale. In between a talk, he will not take an inhale. So he will take an inhale and talk a full sentence, or as much as he has exhaled with the talk, and then stop, took another inhale, then talk. So even talking is disciplined in breath of a yogi. I also do the same, but I cannot do everything perfectly all the time. I can when I am in retreat. I'm with nobody. I'm in nature. Absolutely okay. But when I come to the hindrances, I have to fight. So if the Buddha is a victorious one, then Buddha also has to fight to remain the victorious one. It never stops.
Baba, so in every reincarnation, the I again comes back, the tiny bit of I, to survive in the society.
Yeah. See, what comes back with the soul is the samskara. Samskara in English has been translated as aggregates. Though it is not exactly aggregates, I have translated samskara into character. You have brought your past character. But this character is not remaining purely that character, because it is getting conditioned into new genetics, new evolution, new astrological chart, new gender experiences, new culture. It has to renew. So, for accomplished beings or those who have attained Nirvana, for them to come back to life is a very high risk-taking challenge. It's not easy. It's not just freely traveling. In this, I can lose my own equilibrium if during time of death, I'm not maintained there. So it will add to my sanskara, add to my character that I'm dying with. Like today, you see Tibetan lamas having multiple incarnations, even big lamas. So every reincarnation is a tulku, but they're not Rinpoche. So most of the tulkus you call Rinpoche, they're not Rinpoche. They have not attained that. But if they were Rinpoche in the past birth, then why did they miss it in this birth? Because they were not trained, or they could not pass through all the trainings in this life. So it can be also a setback, not always a forward march. So it's not easy. Like just before this body, my aggregates came to a body of a boy who lived for about 8 years only on earth. And that happened to be the elder brother of my wisdom guru when he was small. I had to pass over to him some gifts that he need to become an enlightened being in this lifetime. He was enlightened in other lifetimes also, but he needed it. So the existence chose me to be his elder brother, and I died at the age of 8. Before that, I transmitted everything that I had to give him and told him, be aware, you are not an ordinary boy, you are not an ordinary child. Pick up, and I will come back in your life. Because when I come back, I pass through the cycle of ignorance of the mother's womb. I will need you to remind me of what I passed on to you. So one day, when my wisdom guru was shouting at me very much, I came to my complete realization, and I looked at him and called him his past childhood's name and said, little boy, you were shouting at me when I have rendered you this wisdom. And then he looked at me and said, okay, you have remembered? I said, yes, I've remembered just now with your shouting. So that shouting was also necessary. That torture was also necessary to push me to that intensity, to make me remind. And when it happened, most of the time, I am young me and he's an old man. I'm seeing him as my younger brother. But one day I recognized it and said, this is also an attachment to a particular body and its sentiment. Teach me how to come out of it. How did you come out of it? So this is how a human being teaches a human being the way of human enlightenment. Then he took me to many more past lifetimes. And we traveled to Bodhisattva fields through this memory. Even to many, many Buddha fields in my memory, in our memory. And then he brought me back and I started laughing by saying, so this is all a drama. So he said, you are also doing a drama, remember it. Then I said, oh, it's so difficult to think. I'm not real, I'm doing a drama. What is the drama, you know? This conception of the self is the drama. What you question, this self comes. It's a usable attribute to communicate. In Shaivism, this suffering that a guru does by becoming a guru, taking up a false ego and can be trapped by the false ego anytime, is drinking of poison of Shiva. There's a story that Shiva drank the poison in behalf of all. That is what a guru does. The job of a guru is a very bad job. Those who are ambitious to become guru, I pray for them. Don't have such an ambition. It's suffering. Lolita Mal's guru was Irish, Mahendranathji. He is also a great Nath yogi. And he started being naked because being a Westerner and a yogi, people are crowding around him. So if he's naked, people are running out. So he found his alertness by remaining naked. See what a fun. He may be in another path, an Indian. Now he's born somewhere else, a new body, and then Indians are making fun about it. Okay, I am also making fun about you. I took off my clothes now. What you will do, you will run away, being ashamed. Like that. Everything is difficult and everything is easy. You have to get in between to tackle both these things in both hands. So that is why in an Indian tradition, we do not give so much importance to reincarnations. Why, you know? So what? Yesterday you were a rich man. Today you are a pauper. Why boast you were a rich man? But you are today, see that. We don't care who you were. What's done is done. Hindus believe that Ramchandra and Krishna and Buddha and Sri Chaitanya, they are all incarnations of Vishnu. Do you find any similarity in their characters? In their lives? So where is the continuity? Continuity is in the pure consciousness. They have the key to open the doors. But once you come into mother's womb, you get into ignorance. I remember how I went on trying in my mother's womb to remain conscious. But still, I was not fully conscious. Whenever you are unconscious in mother's womb, you will get conditioned by what the mother is thinking and mother is behaving. That is why, in Indian context, I was saying in a different context, that when you are pregnant, a mother, you should not go into sex or sexuality, though your feminism has taught you that. This child can be born with your sexuality in his or her mind and can mess from childhood days, can have Oedipus complex, can have Electus complex. All these complexes can grow, can get confused with these memories. Embryonic perception. Human artificial challenges have caused a great damage to a natural state of being. If sexuality is so conditioned in your mind, how will you feel love beyond attachment? On the sexuality bring you back to the memory of attachment? Whether or not the lover will become just a body and not a mind? How much objectification of the lover and the beloved will happen? How many partners will you change, mess your mind, give all excuses, all justifications till you are messed? The Shukritima is saying, let's see, more. So does the psychological stress and suffering of a pregnant mother impact on the unborn child? Absolutely, absolutely. Such as in major wars, today's pandemic crisis. Absolutely, Shukritima. That is why in India, there are methods of keeping as much as happy the pregnant mother can be. It doesn't always happen, but there are rites and rituals like in 3rd month, in 5th month, and 7th month, the pregnant mother will be worshipped. She will be fed with a choiceable food, choiceable dress. People will sing to her, dance to her. That the bliss remains, that the child is born blissful and healthy. Yes, Chinmaya, I was speaking about Gururinpoche's and Manjushri Mitra's teachings. People can go to the chat and find out. The link has been given by Chinmaya. Shamaneri Jayasara is like reciting these teachings. Excellent. I really enjoyed. And you can go to YouTube and read them. Now, Bani Brot is saying, Jamyang Chense Rinpoche and Dujjom Rinpoche has many incarnations. Yes. Now, I was saying, I didn't complete this Tibetan tragedy. The great masters having more than one or two or three, that is more than 1, 2, 3, even 4 incarnations after death. If you read the explanation of incarnation and its theory, and you will know that many incarnations can come from one incarnation in splits. So of course, their samskaras are split. Why these great masters having their samskaras split? Think of it and tell me. Sam, it's now your responsibility to say, why do you think they're getting splitted?
For different activities, Baba?
To offer different activities in one guru is not enough to offer different activities. They have to get split.
Because I heard like there are 5 main incarnations, like body, mind, speech, and quality and activity. So
why all those who are once together, why they got separated? I'm asking straightly a question of psychology, parapsychology.
So that many can be benefited?
That you may think as a believer, but why they are getting split? They're deciding to get split. That is what you were saying. So you are saying that the two karmapas fought is still fighting. They decided it to fight with. There was a self-conflict in the karmapa, last karmapa. I am an antagonist. I don't share any faith and belief system. I care faith and belief and very personal state. It's your emotions you handle. I believe in science and structure. They are split because when they broke out from Tibet by the Red Army, the torture they went through, they lost confidence in their magical powers. In the same person, disbelief and belief simultaneously worked and became 2 persons in the next lifetime. See what can happen in a situation that body, mind, and spirit or speech are not aligned. They suffered that heavily. So they need to be, they're separated in their aggregates. The soul divided. In my own Sangha, I've seen people, like two disciples have come from two different ends. And in my ashram, they've come very close. And this closeness is creating conflict in them with an attachment also. It is natural, can happen. But I have seen two sides of the coin has come. Same person that I knew in my past lifetimes has become two incarnations, and they're fighting. They're appreciating each other. So one is going high in practice, another is falling. Another is going high in the practice, other is falling. So they have to continuously keep balance. So one day, one of them realized there is some connection between you two. Came and asked, are we twin sisters? I said, you are twin souls. You are the same person who has tortured me in past lives as disciples. Gurus always feel tortured by disciples, and disciples always feel tortured by gurus in the world of tantra. As all of us know. So I said, because both of you are the same person with a self-conflict, born black. Why? What was the self-conflict? You find out what is the major issue between you two about the self-conflict, is it? It's you, Baba. Is it so? These two standards of understanding me is the split in you in a past life when you were thinking of me in two opposite ways. To see how it can happen. So all your binaries have to be resolved before you leave this body. How much these binaries have to be resolved before you leave this body? You have to make your inhale and exhale equal, because that is fast creating the pulsation into binary. That's it. And then you have to leave the body. So you are not caught in the duality. But it's of course like that. Okay, let's see, there are more questions, it looks like. Achha, thank you, maitreyasangha. I know 2 hours have passed. What to do? Even 2 years is not enough. Why 2 incarnations of Vishnu, Rama and Parashuram fight in the event of marriage of Sita? See, Bani Brata is asking. Answer this. For many lifetimes, I'm seeing this. In my experiences of the soul and experiences of others watching it, now I have come to the conclusion. Nothing is important. Anywhere you concentrate with importance, you are making others less important and breaking the balance. Then what about meditation? It's a necessary evil. It's a process, it's a tool, which is also working with you in your duality standards. If you give importance to everything, that is, if you can concentrate on everything, which the yogis say living in the moment, Not a reckless life is living in the moment that most of the hippies say. No. Living in the moment is every moment is in consciousness. You can live every moment in consciousness. You will see everything is important. Each breath is important. Each pulsation is important. Everything is important. And more you see everything important, more nothing is important to you. It's in such an equation of pratitta samutpat that everything is important, but nothing is special. Shukritima is asking, what are the dangers of two souls? How can they reconcile these to unify? They may not reconcile, Shukritima. There is not much danger. A soul is just an energy ball catching some karmas or some conditions in it. So if the two twin souls, the conditions are separated, changed, they may meet and not agree with each other and fight. They may appreciate each other. There may be no reconciliation. 10 million years before, the earth was not so populated. Now it is. How much split of souls have happened? Think of that. Maybe one day you and me were the same one. Today you are asking me question and I am answering you. But I don't give importance to it anymore, because I have given importance to it many times and found it's a foul game. So if you think this is your guru, this is very important, after I die, you make my images, you're just holding on to a passing phase. Nothing is important. So if you realize, that will be respecting my process of making you realize. That is how you can respect a guru. Highest is making you reach very near to your guru and become one with your guru. That is an unbelievable reconciliation. If God has created us, God has created, let us go through the bhakti path. God has created us. So God has created out of his own image. Then we are all gods. So how many times God is getting broken? Let us feel some feelings for the old man and let us join all together to become one. How will you do? Only in Samadhi. So there is one end, a progression, like fractal geometry, increasing, multiple, a design is continuously becoming, and slowly mutating. And on that end, parts of it are getting so saturated, it's going into a black hole and ending up. Those black holes are nirvana points. And those progressions and fractals are your endless lives. Like from a lamp, you can burn many lamps, light many lamps. Such from one soul, many souls can change their samskaras. That is what the Guru is rendering the light to your lamp. And you light it up and you become that. Acha. Wait a minute. Yes, yes, Sam, you're very much right. It's the same way Gururinpoche is emanating many deities and many bodies. If you read Shiva Samhita, you will see it has been mentioned there that in this state, it has been said a state, when a yogi can incarnate his 5 elements from 4 to 5 parts in his own living time. I will say it in his heart, its own living time. Anybody can do it in that state. I also have 5 incarnations in my own living time, but they are my emanations. I've allowed the congregation of my 5 elements, each accomplishment to be reborn in my lifetime. So when I die, I do not carry the heaviness of my realizations. I'm dropping the baggage on the world. And people ask me whether they will also become enlightened. I don't know. I just dropped off my baggage. Before I go, I have to go empty. But of course, each one of them are born with that specific accomplishment of that element. Okay, another question was there. What causes a soul to take birth? Yes, Shukritima. Our own incompletedness causes us to take a new birth, to complete the journey. So there may be many things incomplete, but when you are going, if your subconscious is empty, your conscious has not hangover or anchoring to anything of your life, you will not be born again. But then a question will come, where will I go, Baba, then, if I'm not born again? Your consciousness will merge into absolute potential consciousness that we call Abhyashakti, saturated black hole. That is Nirvana. Somebody has written, Diego, if the realizer or guru has still some spirit in them, is it then lived out by his disciples? Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. Disciple is also extension of the guru. When guru is imparting his samskaras in the disciple, a disciple is carrying the guru in him or her. In the state of Samadhi, nirvikalpasamadhi, we all are the same. There's no difference.
Baba, a long question.
Say.
Baba, at the teaching at Khechopedi, you taught that Guru Padmasambhav had this sadness because his disciple could not get that teaching. So he had to go a celibate monk-like, meditation, and then he got this teaching of how to enjoy the sadness. So are this teaching a new teaching in themselves? Can they be imparted like with Lung and Wang, or is it just the realization, the wisdom?
Your realizations are your own teachings to yourself. That is how the Atma Guru or the Self Guru works as your teacher. When your spirit is training your body and mind, that is the best training. So if in your spirit the Guru can enter, then the inner Guru is awakened. Then the outer Guru will not like to keep you near him or her. Get lost. Be yourself. My Gurus did the same thing to me. You have been transmitted. Just get lost. Don't disturb us. Enjoy yourself. Now I translate. Disturb yourself. When you come across your own self-conflicts and resolve them, your realization has started. So this much today, 2 hours have passed. The organizers have given me a bell, 2 hours have passed. See, I can stay here for endless time, so long you can stay. But once I start carrying on, you will feel tired. It's better for everybody. Whatever I've cooked for you and given in your plate today, digest it. Next time we come back, what next? That time we'll think. Because today, almost everybody's thought processes have got a bit saturated. Because we talked about something which is really very complex. And I can feel a kind of silence in everybody. And I'm happy that in most of you, that silence has taken place today. I can hear the sound of the silence from all your minds. This is what is reaching you near Samadhi. This saturation, this blankness of mind. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Baba, Jai Ma.
Shambhu Adesh, Agharadesh, Avadhut Adesh, Alakaniranjan, Boom, 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 Boom. Har Har Mahakal.